Former Congressman Tim Ryan out of the Midwest. Let's take a listen to what he was saying on CNN just yesterday afternoon.
Former Ohio Democratic Congressman Tim Ryan says Vice President Kamala Harris should be his party's new nominee for president. In a new piece, he writes, Joe Biden's debate performance was deeply troubling, but it isn't just about 90 minutes in a debate and a terrible performance. This election needs to be about generational change, something about which I have been shouting for more than a year now. And let's bring in former Ohio Democratic Congressman Tim Ryan. He also ran against President Biden for the Democratic nomination back in 2020. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. So in this op-ed today saying that Biden should step aside and Kamala Harris should be the nominee, why? Why are you arguing for that?
Well, we all saw the debate on Thursday. I mean, you can't ignore it. You can't ask people to unsee what they saw. Not only did they watch it in real time, so many people have personal experiences with their parents, their grandparents. They know what the aging process looks like. And that person on the stage there was not capable of governing the United States of America, being in those difficult meetings, being in those difficult situations. And so I think we have to recognize that as quickly as possible. Rip the Band-Aid off. We have a great vice president who has 3.5 years of seasoning in the highest levels of government. She would be a great campaigner, energize our base. So many of the different aspects of the Democratic coalition would be super excited about a Kamala Harris run. And we should get behind her and take the campaign to Donald Trump and get this country back where it needs to be.
Okay. I'll take that trade. How about you guys? Kamala Harris, that's an interesting one to put out there. Now, I want to back up for a minute because what's going on strikes me as a little bit interesting. Look at who's leading the campaign against Joe Biden. Right now, it's really the New York Times and CNN. Don't forget who's running CNN right now, the former head of the New York Times. How do you like that? And who do you think the Obama people are really in tight with? The New York Times. And maybe Jake Tapper, right? Jake Tapper got the big scoop on the, various intel things, courtesy, we believe, of Clapper, right? Who was feeding him false information, and then Jake wins an award for it. So you got to wonder, none of these reporters are smart enough on their own. Who is in their ear? Who's telling them? Who's telling them to lean in? Somebody is. Somebody made a call. By the way, who the heck said that Biden should do that debate? I mean, if you're around the guy for 2 seconds, you would never advise him to do a debate. You would sit back on your laurels and say, oh no, we're not going to debate Donald Trump because Donald Trump is bad and this, that, and the other. So you would never actually do the debate. But somebody okayed this. Somebody gave it the green light. And then the prep. I'm sorry, but you couldn't even teach the guy about RBS. Do you know what RBS is? Resting face. So you have to remember, and this is like one of the first things you learn in television, that there are multiple shots. So let me give you an example, right? Let me give you an example. If I were to go to a cutaway shot of me, let me see if I can do this. If I have this, I'll show you. So the idea is, you go to a cutaway. It's a different kind of shot. Yikes. And you can see what a mess my studio is. Didn't realize it was that wide a shot. But that's the kind of thing that in television, you're not going to go to that shot unless you have it all set up. And then you're going to stand tall and look pretty, right? And he couldn't do that. They didn't even give him the benefit of any tanning lotion, for goodness sakes. Did you see how pale he looked up there? Well, suddenly, the next day, he came out and he did a whole new thing, right? He did a whole new thing on television, not the very next day. Yeah, kind of the next day. He was there saying, oh, I know I'm not as young as I once was, but I got it going on. And did you notice how much better he looked? I mean, a heck of a lot better here.
Let me close with this.
He got some makeup.
I'm not a young man.
Or a tan.
State the obvious. Well, I know. Well, I don't.
Okay, he's got his teleprompter, he's got his tan, so somehow he got a memo. But they prepped him for that debate. They allowed him to do that debate, and ask yourself why.